Hello everyone, in this Feature of the Week video. Today I will tell you how to add in a very simple way new variables to your model in Simulink. Imagine that you exported a Monolix project to Simulink and you need a simulation output with a variable which is not defined in the MLX-Tran model code. For instance, your model calculates a response level R, but you need the change of the response from the baseline. Or you need to use a concentration AUC to define a safety target. With the additional lines in the model feature in Simulink, you can add new variables in a model without modifying the original model file. In the Definition tab at the bottom of the model, there is a field where you can write simple formulas, ODEs, or more complicated expressions. For instance, to add the change of the response from the baseline R0, I add a line RR equals R divided by R0. And to calculate the AUC, I add AUC underscore 0 equals 0 for the initial condition and DDT underscore AUC equals concentration. When I click on the Apply button here, Simulink adds these lines on the fly in the equation block below the structural model. Remember that this feature adds formulas only to the equation block, so you cannot add lines in the PK block. For example, to add the oral macro to a model with Infusion, you have to change the model file, save it, and then reload it. Information about additional lines is also added in the SMLX project file at the bottom in the section Extension. Now I can use these new variables to define an output element. They appear in the intermediate output menu here. For example, I select RR, define a regular grid, and I can use it in the exploration and simulations. The additional lines feature is also available when you access Simulink with the API. In the Linksoft connectors package, there is one function to add lines and one to get lines already added in the model. Let's look at two examples. Here, I first import a Monolix project with the function import Monolix project. The function setAddLines corresponds to the action I did previously in the interface, so it will add the formula in the bracket to the equation block of a model. And now I save a Simulink project with Save Project. The function getAddLines returns lines which were added to the model. Let's look at the second example. If you want to add several lines, then put them in a vector and separate with a comma, like in this case of a Simulink project, which I'm going to load with the function loadProject. A survival hazard age is defined in the model, and using setAddLines, I add a calculation of the survival function as a variable s. Then I can define a new output with this variable. Whether you use Simulink with the graphical interface or with R scripts, adding new variables with this feature gives you much more time for simulations and analysis. Remember that more information about Simulink you can find in our online documentation. Stay safe and see you next week.